Philip, as the MD of International Market ISG, what do you think of Seamless and how is it being here?
Look, I think you're seeing with the coming together of all these different companies, governmental organizations, and so on, you're seeing a lot of energy regarding new payment methods. So we know what the legacy payment methods are. But what we're seeing now are these new payment methods when it comes to pay in and pay out. We're seeing payments, we're seeing acquiring, we're seeing capturing of new flows, we're seeing new methods of payment such as stablecoin, CBDC, and so on. So I think what's happening now and what makes this period so interesting is everything is happening at the same time. And everyone is kind of looking to decipher what the next steps are going to be.
Everything is happening at the same time. I want to ask you something that's really happened, something big. Jaywan just launched. What do you have to say of that?
Look, it's a fantastic initiative by the UAE. What they're doing here is providing a local solution that really has complete global capabilities, leveraging the UAE switch, lowering cost to consumers. You're taking a product that is enabling organizations, SMEs, individuals, and so on, to have not only acceptance, but reach, capabilities, capturing data, and also the ability to move cash out of the system and leverage the digital solution to really provide a solution that's digital by default. ISG is very proud to be part of the launch, part of the overall solution, and part of the execution of the solution as well.
Part of the execution, and it is going to be such a massive level execution that's going to happen.
It will be. And I think it's also going to be an experience that is going to show other markets how to move forward with the domestic product as well. So I think a lot of the world is going to look at the UAE and learn from the UAE.
Yeah. And you just had an MOU signing with Momalad Financial Services. How do you look at that? What would happen really with that MOU?
Look, Momalad has been a fantastic partner. I think what we're looking to do with them is work with them on different types of services like reconciliation or clearing and settlement. But the opportunity there is to provide solutions to address specific pain points. And I think that's what ISG and Momalad did, working together, identifying the pain points, providing the solution, and then executing within an agreed time frame to be able to give more transparency and a better overall experience to Momalad. It's been an honor to work with them. I think what they're doing is they're really moving forward very, very quickly, leveraging different technology like what ISG is able to offer, and then executing. And when they do that, they provide their clients with a much more seamless experience as well.
And let me ask you, this is for
And by the way, I mentioned seamless because we're at seamless.
and this is for the Libyan market, I would say.
That is for the Libyan market.
What do you have to say about the Libyan market or the market surrounding to Libya?
I think what we're seeing is in these North African markets in general, just tremendous activity. Because if you think about it, there in many cases weren't legacy solutions in place. So these markets are going digital by default. And as a result, they're taking the most advanced solutions right now, putting them in their systems, leveraging them, and executing. So the experience for their clients is really one that is cutting edge, that is new, that is efficient, that works quickly, that is safe and secure.
Philip, let me ask you about what are your export-ready solutions for GCC, and is there anything new on the pipeline you are looking into?
Look, I think when we talk about solutioning in place, it is platforms, it's issuing, it is very feature-rich, but feature-rich in the same time, not rigid. So these solutions, when it comes to acquiring platforms, when it comes to reconciliation, when it comes to settlement, merchant management, issuing, and so on, we're looking to provide our customers with a very, very feature-rich solution. So when new technology comes along, instead of having a rigid type of system that makes change difficult and expensive, we can add those new features within a very specific time frame that allows companies to be more competitive, embrace the change, embrace the features, and then project them out to the marketplace.
Philip, everybody is talking about AI, but I'll skip that and ask you about stable coins. You introduced stable coins, a lot of things happening at that and within the stable coin. How do you look at stablecoin rolling out in the market? How are these countries approaching stablecoins?
Look, I think there's not, one of the challenges is that there's not one uniform set of regulations and processes or protocols at this place. But what's appealing about stablecoin and CBDCs is basically you're taking a digital form of fiat currency. And I think that provides the benefits of digital, but the reassurance of having a fiat currency regarding valuation and so on. I think what we're going to see here is type of blockchain solutions that will work with stablecoin, the challenge of on and off ramp. Basically, if you have stablecoin, how do you transfer that over to a fiat currency and so on? I think what we're seeing here today is that the solutioning, the ideas are in place, but you have to have an agreed set of parameters, whether it be set by the banks, whether it be set by the governments in conjunction with the banks and so on. I think as the parameters, as the regulations become more stable, more straightforward, the public becomes more comfortable, more knowledgeable, and that drives adoption.
Philip, when you look at these technologies coming out, how are really consumers getting affected by these massive changes with enterprise level solutions? How do you think it's playing out in the market?
Look, I think one way of looking at it is it's basically taking cash out of the system and replacing it with a more digitized version of it. I think consumers right now are having to address a lot of different solutions coming in place. I almost think of it as on your smartphone, you have all these apps, but you really only use 3 or 4 of them, right? And I think the onus is on us as the providers, as the managers of these solutions, to communicate to the public the value, why it should be used, the security, the ability to use them for everyday transactions, to make your life easier. And I think the more we do that, the clearer our message is, the more consistent our message is, the more adoption you're going to see by the general public of these new solutions.
Philip, before I let you go, just one last question. You are that generation that has used cash so much, and then you don't see them in the system anymore. Do you think the value of holding a physical currency really matters, or do you think everything is better in the digital form?
Look, I think the idea that you and me hold a piece of paper and we can buy things with it signifies trust. Trust in the government that issued that paper. I think the consistent theme is trust. As long as the trust is there, as long as the usability is there, I think we're very open to moving from one method of payment to another method of payment.
It's a pleasure to talk to you, Philip. I'll catch you down the line. Thank you so much for taking time.
Thank you very much.